It was supposed to be the perfect holiday. A warm evening in Praia da Luz, Portugal, where the ocean breeze carried laughter from tourists dining along the coast. The McCann family had settled into their apartment at the Ocean Club Resort. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann, with her bright smile and signature twinkle in her eye, had spent the day splashing in the pool and playing with her younger twin siblings. For Kate and Jerry McCann, this trip was a chance to relax, to breathe, to enjoy life away from the constant pressures of work. But in just a matter of hours, the dream would shatter into a nightmare the world still talks about to this day. On the night of May 3, 2007, the McCanns decided to have dinner with friends at a tapas restaurant just a short walk from their apartment. They had a routine, each parent taking turns to check on the sleeping children every half hour. The doors were left unlocked, trusting the tranquility of the quiet resort. The warm air was filled with the hum of conversation and clinking glasses. Around 9 p.m. Jerry went to check on the kids. All seemed well. Madeleine was asleep in her bed. The twins undisturbed. He returned to dinner, confident all was safe. But what no one knew was that at that very moment, someone else might have been watching. At 9:30 p.m. another check was made by one of their friends again. Everything appeared fine. The world seemed calm, but just 30 minutes later, everything changed. Kate McCann walked into the apartment around 10 p.m. The air felt wrong, to heavy. Her eyes darted to the bed where Madeleine should have been. It was empty. The covers were pulled back, and the little girl was gone. In that instant, Kate's heart dropped into a pit of dread. Panic flooded her system. She raced through the apartment, calling Madeleine's name. Silence. She ran back to the restaurant screaming, "They've taken her. Someone's taken Madeleine." The holiday resort exploded into chaos. Guests and staff rushed to search the grounds, shouting into the night. Neighbors joined the frantic hunt, sweeping the area with flashlights. But there was no trace of her. The Portuguese police were called immediately. Roadblocks were set up, and officers scoured the town. Witness statements trickled in. A British tourist claimed she saw a man carrying a child in pink pajamas around 9:15 p.m., heading away from the resort. Could this have been Madeleine? Or was it an innocent father carrying his own daughter home? The clock ticked relentlessly, and every hour that passed made the trail colder. The police investigation quickly became tangled in confusion. At first, the search focused on the possibility of an abduction by a stranger. Flyers with Madeleine's face were distributed across Portugal and later across Europe, but as weeks turned into months, public suspicion began to shift. The police questioned the McCanns extensively, combing through their statements for inconsistencies. Some investigators suggested that perhaps the truth lay much closer to home. Rumors swirled. Fueled by tabloid headlines and public speculation, every word, every tear, every photograph of the McCanns was dissected by the media, often cruelly. Then came a breakthrough, or so it seemed. British sniffer dogs brought to the apartment alerted to spots inside, including behind a sofa and in the trunk of a rental car the McCanns had hired weeks after Madeleine disappeared. For investigators, this raised disturbing questions, but the forensic evidence was far from conclusive. DNA results were inconclusive and could not definitively link Madeleine to any foul play. Still, in September 2007, the Portuguese police named Kate and Jerry McCann as official suspects. Or arguidos, the decision set off a firestorm in the press. Dividing public opinion, some believed the grieving parents were victims of a botched investigation. Others were convinced they were hiding their dark secret. Under immense pressure and global scrutiny, the McCanns fought back. They hired private investigators, launched massive public appeals, and appeared on television to plead for their daughter's return. Madeleine's face appeared on billboards, in newspapers, and on television screens around the world. Celebrities and political leaders voiced support. Yet the leads that came in were endless but fruitless. Reported sightings in Morocco, Spain, and even Australia, each one ending in disappointment. The world was watching. But the mystery only deepened. Months turned into years. In 2008, Portuguese authorities officially closed the case due to lack of evidence. For many, it felt like the final nail in the coffin. But for Kate and Jerry, giving up was never an option. They continued their search, using every ounce of media attention to keep Madeleine's name alive. The case was reopened in 2011, when Scotland Yard launched Operation Grange. A full review of all evidence, detectives examined thousands of documents and re-interviewed witnesses. In 2013, police released new effit images of potential suspects, reigniting hope. Then, in 2020, a new development stunned the world. German authorities announced they had identified a convicted sex offender named Christian Bruckner as a prime suspect. Bruckner was already in prison for unrelated crimes. He had lived in the Algarve region at the time of Madeleine's disappearance and had a history of violence. Investigators believe he may have been involved, but to this day, no charges have been filed against him in connection with the case. Now, almost 2 decades later, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann remains one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in modern history. Was she taken by a stranger? Did she wander off into the night? Or is the truth something far darker, hidden in plain sight? We may never know for sure. But what's certain is that somewhere out there, someone knows exactly what happened on that warm May night in 2007. And until that person speaks, the shadow over Praia da Luz will never fade. If you found this story chilling, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more cases that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Your support helps us continue to uncover the darkest true crime mysteries the world has ever seen.